You know, it's funny how sometimes a brand name just completely takes over, like Kleenex for tissues, right?
Yeah.
Or Band-Aid.
Oh, absolutely. It becomes the default word.
Exactly. And what if I told you that happened in Germany? With condoms? People didn't ask for a condom, they asked for a Fromm's.
It's true. An incredible level of brand recognition.
But behind that name, behind Fromm's, there's this really astonishing and, frankly, heartbreaking story. It's about innovation, definitely, but also assimilation and just profound loss.
That's exactly what we're digging into today. The life of Julius Fromm. He was this, well, ingenious entrepreneur who basically created the world's first brand name condom empire. This was back in the roaring 20s, Weimar Germany.
But we'll look at how he built this empire, his dream of becoming, what he saw as a true German.
And then the flip side, the brutal reality of how the Nazis systematically dismantled everything. His business, his family, his identity, it was all just plundered.
Yeah. And this deep dive, it's not just a history lesson. We've got archival research, family testimonies. It's really a window into that state-organized theft that hits so many Jewish families, but seen through one man's story.
It makes you ask, how does a state even do that? Turn bureaucracy into such a weapon against its own people?
Right. So let's get into it, because the details here are, well, there's something else.
Okay, so Julius Fromm, he wasn't originally Julius, he was Israel Fromm. Born 1883 in Konin, which was Tsarist Russia then, Poland now.
And from a traditional Jewish background.
Very traditional, where, ironically, contraception was actually seen as a serious sin.
Wow. Okay. And his family moved, like so many others at the time.
Yes, seeking a better life. They immigrated to Berlin in 1893, but they ended up in the Scheinenviertel.
Which was notoriously poor, right?
Extremely. They lived in a single room, just, scraping by. It's quite a contrast to where he ended up.
You have to think that early struggle must have chased him. What happened then?
Well, his father, Baruch, died when Julius was only 15.
Oh, wow. Young.
Yeah. So suddenly he's the one stepping up, helping his mother, Regina, hand-roll cigarettes like late into the night, just to support the family, his siblings. He even had an older brother, Salomon, who'd already gone to London.
That's a lot of responsibility for a teenager. But it sounds like it lit a fire under him.
It seems so. That drive definitely took him somewhere unexpected. He started taking evening classes.
Yeah.
Chemistry, specifically around 1912, rubber chemistry.
Rubber chemistry. Okay, that makes sense now.
Exactly, and that's where he got his big idea, seamless, thin rubber condoms.
Which was revolutionary at the time.
Completely. Before that, condoms were often pretty crude, made from things like animal intestines, not reliable, not comfortable. Fromm's idea was a game changer. For pleasure, sure, but also for health.
So he wasn't just making a product, he was really innovating, creating a whole new standard.
Precisely. He starts his own one-man company in 1914, and by 1916, he names the product Fromzact.
Fromzact. Let's talk about that name. It's brilliant.
It really was. His brother, Salomon, the one in London, probably influenced it. Act in German. It's got so many layers.
Like action.
Action, a plays act, a sexual act, even like a nude in art. And it also sounded a bit like acting Gesellschaft, a corporation. So it sounded established, even when it was tiny.
And the packaging, I read about that.
Simple, striking. Small green and purple striped boxes. 3 condoms inside. And he put his own name, Julius Fromm, right into the design, into the A of ACT.
Putting his name on the line, literally.
Absolutely.
And clearly it worked. Fromm's just became the word for condom, like you said, the Kleenex effect.
Mm-hmm.
What was going on in Germany then after World War I that made people so receptive?
Well, Weimar Germany, it was this period of huge social upheaval. People talk about a new sex wave.
A new sex wave? Like, well,
You had dance crazes, the beginning of sexology as a field of study, just a generally more permissive attitude towards sex compared to before the war.
so attitudes were shifting, and condoms fit into that.
They became seen as, well, essential, not just for avoiding pregnancy, but for public health, too.
Doctors were promoting them.
Oh, yes. Venereal diseases had been a big problem in the military during the war. They even made condoms mandatory in the Army's battlefield brothels.
Wow. So soldiers came home with this awareness.
Exactly. An awareness of family planning, disease prevention. It was a real shift.
But I bet not everyone was happy about this new sex wave and readily available condoms.
Not at all. There was significant moral outrage. The falling birth rate was a huge political issue.
Who was pushing back?
You had Catholic leaders. Cardinal Bertram famously called condoms an incentive to fornicate. And you also had this rising alliance of National Socialists and other conservative fundamentalist groups.
So Fromm is trying to grow his business in the middle of this cultural tug of war.
Mm.
How did he navigate that? He couldn't just advertise buy condoms, could he?
No, definitely not. Explicitly mentioning contraception was illegal. It was considered public incitement to indecency.
So what did he do?
He was clever. He installed the first condom vending machines in 1928. Huge innovation. But the slogan wasn't about sex.
What was it?
Men, protect your health, framing it entirely around disease prevention. He also patented things like patterned condoms for enhanced sensation, always innovating.
And the business just exploded.
Right.
The numbers are incredible.
Astonishing. 24 million condoms sold in 1926. By 1931, it was over 50 million a year.
50 million. And with that success came, well, wealth. A fancy villa.
Yep. Bought a grand villa in Nicolasee, an upscale Berlin suburb, back in 1919, and he also changed his name officially.
Right, from Israel to Julius. When did that happen?
He'd applied for Prussian citizenship in 1914 but got rejected. They called him a Russian Jew without a secure livelihood.
Ouch.
Yeah. But by 1920, his business was thriving, application approved, and Israel officially became Julius.
And it sounds like the whole family really leaned into this German identity.
Completely. They stopped speaking Yiddish, moved away from religious traditions. His niece, Ruth, later recalled them saying things like, "After all, we were now German." They truly believed they belonged.
Which, knowing what's coming, is just chilling. That deep belief in belonging would become such a dangerous illusion.
Tragically so.
So, fast forward. 1933. The Nazis take power. You'd think Fromm, being so successful, so visible, would see the writing on the wall immediately. But he didn't, did he?
Apparently not, at least initially. He's quoted as saying something like, "Hitler's come and go." Maybe a bit dismissive.
What do you think? Was it denial? Or did he really believe his success protected him?
It seems like a mix. Many assimilated, successful German Jews felt that way. They thought, this can't apply to us. We're different. We're integrated. Even his own directors, who were early Nazi Party members.
Wait, his directors were Nazis?
Two of them, yes, Berthold Wirth and Carl Lewis, and they apparently tried to reassure him, saying, "Oh, Herr Fromm, we don't mean you. You're an exception."
An exception. Famous last words.
Indeed. He genuinely thought his contributions, the jobs he created, his assimilation, that it all made him safe.
So he tries to adapt.
Yeah.
To kind of fit in with the new regime.
Desperately. He starts advertising pure German quality products. For a while, he even drops the act from the brand name, maybe thinking it sounded too modern, too Weimar.
And I read he even started promoting rubber pacifiers.
Yeah, trying to align with the Nazi pro-birth policies. He donated to the Winter Relief Fund, made sure a swastika flag was visible in a factory cafeteria. He really emphasized his German diligence, bending over backwards.
But it didn't matter. The regime wasn't looking for exceptions, were they?
Not at all. They started moving to revoke his citizenship, using a 1933 law aimed at Eastern European Jews. Even when a local Nazi official worried about job losses if the factory closed, it didn't stop the process. This is where Aryanization really kicks in.
Aryanization, that sounds so clinical, but it was just theft, wasn't it? Systematized theft.
Absolutely. State-orchestrated robbery, disguised in bureaucracy.
So how did they take his company? It must have been worth a fortune.
It was. Valued at around 5 million Reichsmarks, a huge sum then. But in 1937, he was forced to sell.
Forced how?
The Reich Economics Ministry got directly involved. They pressured the bank, handling the negotiations. They even threatened to cut off his supply of raw rubber essential for his business, basically crippling him to drive the price down.
And who ended up buying it? Another rubber magnate?
Not quite. The buyer was Baroness Elisabeth Eppenstein von Mautenberg.
Doesn't ring a bell.
She was Hermann Göring's godmother.
Göring's godmother. So this was high-level stuff.
Oh, entirely. Göring himself orchestrated the deal. And get this. He wasn't interested in the condom factory for his godmother. He wanted 2 medieval castles she owned.
Wait, he traded Fromm's company for castles?
Essentially, yes. He used Fromm's profitable business as leverage to get the castles from his godmother. It just shows the unbelievable cynicism, the brazenness of the plunder. It was personal enrichment masquerading as policy.
So what did Fromm actually get for his 5 million Reichsmark company?
A pittance. 200,000 Swiss francs. Which was only about 116,000 Reichsmarks at the time, a tiny fraction of its value. He signed under duress, obviously. It was robbery wrapped in legal paperwork.
And it wasn't just the company, was it? They went after his personal wealth, too.
Everything. His personal assets were estimated at 1.6 million Reichsmarks. They stripped it away using things like the Reich flight tax if you tried to leave, the so-called Jewish atonement payment after Kristallnacht.
A payment for the damage done to Jewish prostitutes.
Exactly. Utterly cynical. There was even a forced Count Helldorf donation. Helldorf was the Berlin police chief, just layer upon layer of bureaucratic theft.
A machine designed to drain every last penny.
And it didn't stop there. It went beyond money. In May 1943, his entire household was auctioned off.
Auctioned publicly?
Yes, a public Jew auction in Berlin. His belongings, along with those of 16 other Jewish families, they advertised things like large corner sofa, 12 wooden easy chairs, leather, just mundane items listed out.
And ordinary Germans came and bought this stuff.
Yes, people from all walks of life, eagerly buying the loot, as the documents sometimes called it. Whether they knew the full story or just saw a bargain, they were participating, funding the Reich treasury.
That level of public complicity is hard to grasp.
Yeah.
What about his really valuable things? Did they end up in the auction?
That's a key point. Things like his Bechstein grand piano, his silver oriental rugs. The truly valuable items, they mostly vanished before the public auction.
Just disappeared.
Likely appropriated by Nazi officials or people with connections. It shows the theft operated on multiple levels, from high-ranking looting to everyday citizens buying secondhand goods.
So his company gone, his possessions auctioned. What happened to Julius and his wife, Selma?
They managed to flee to London in October 1938, just before Kristallnacht, luckily.
But London wasn't exactly a warm welcome, was it?
No, the British government was wary. Refugees were given these cars, reminding them they were guests, and that England's opinion depended on their behavior. Quite stern.
And for Fromm, this man who built an empire from nothing.
He was basically condemned to idleness, as one account puts it. Imagine the psychological toll. From constant work and innovation to nothing, just waiting.
It's heartbreaking. And if the tragedy wasn't confined to him, it rippled through his whole family, what happened to his children, his relatives.
It's a grim picture. His son, Max, who was an actor, had already fled to Paris in 1933. He was involved in anti-fascist cabarets there, showing some real bravery.
But after the war...
The irony is brutal. Because of his blonde hair and German accent, he kept getting typecast as a Nazi officer in films.
Oh no, that must have been agonizing.
Unimaginably. There's even a story he almost got a lead role opposite Brigitte Bardot, but they said he was too short. Just adds insult to injury. His German looks, which maybe helped him assimilate earlier, became a professional prison later.
And others face far worse.
Much worse. His nephew, Berthold Fromm, was arrested in 1941. He was executed in Sachsenhausen concentration camp in May 1942, labeled a Jewish hostage.
A hostage? Why?
Oh, it was a reprisal. Retaliation for a resistance bombing at a Nazi propaganda exhibit in Berlin. He was murdered for something he likely had nothing to do with.
Just horrific collective punishment.
And it continued. His sister-in-law, Elvira, and other relatives, Else and Willy Brandenburg, they were forced into those awful Jew houses in Berlin, then deported to Auschwitz.
And murdered there.
Yes. Perished in the gas chambers. His own brother, Siegmund, was forced into slave labor at the very factory Julius had built.
The cruelty is just deliberate.
It seems so. There was one small miracle. Alfred, Siegmund's son, survived. He was hidden by a German working-class family, pretending to be Aryan.
Thank goodness for those brave people. But even after Julius escaped Germany, the Nazis weren't done with him, financially speaking.
No. The bureaucratic machine kept churning. Any remaining bank accounts, safe deposit boxes in Germany seized. The assets were converted into war loans for the German military.
Using his own money to fund the regime that destroyed him.
Precisely. Even his lawyer in Germany, Günther Lobinger himself, an assimilated Jewish WWI veteran trying to manage Fromm's affairs. He was eventually deported to Theresienstadt in 1943 and then murdered in Auschwitz in 1944. It was a total annihilation of his world.
And then Julius himself died. So soon after the war ended.
May 12th, 1945, just 3 days after VE Day in Europe. His family believed his heart just gave out from the sheer relief, the joy, the prospect of maybe finally going home to Germany. He'd written to Max months earlier, "As soon as the war is over, I will begin again."
He still had that drive, but he never got the chance. And for his surviving family, the fight wasn't over, was it?
No, the fight for restitution, for some kind of justice, was just beginning. And it got incredibly complicated because Germany itself was now divided.
Right, East and West. How did that play out for the Fromm's legacy?
In West Germany, amazingly, the Fromm's brand actually came back. A new company, helped by one of Julius's old production managers, started making condoms again in 1947. Julius's sons, Herbert and Edgar, eventually licensed the trademark back to them. They were competing with Durex by then.
So, a kind of resurrection in the West, but the East, where the original factories were.
A totally different story, and deeply cynical. The main Köpenick factory, damaged by bombs, was seized by the Soviets immediately. The other factory in Friedrichshagen was nationalized by the new East German state, the GDR.
Okay, nationalized. But then it got worse.
Unbelievably, the communist regime actually started vilifying Julius Fromm posthumously. This man, persecuted and robbed by the Nazis.
They called him what?
A capitalist exploiter, even smeared him as pro-Nazi to justify the state taking over his property of the people, they called it.
That is staggering hypocrisy.
Ah.
A victim of the Nazis branded pro-Nazi by the communists to steal his legacy again.
It's mind-boggling. The brand name there was changed to Mondo's, which also became a household name for condoms in the GDR. So robbed by one regime, slandered and robbed again by the next.
And his son Edgar had to fight this.
Yes, Edgar Fromm fought for decades, tirelessly, trying to get restitution for the family's properties and assets. He had some success with the factory sale proceeds eventually, but the fight over the company's actual working capital dragged on.
Do we know how much the German state overall profited from seizing Fromm's assets?
The estimates are huge, over 3 million Reichsmarks just from the state-managed part of the expropriation. That's equivalent to something like 30 million euros today. And that includes the forced company sale, the bank accounts, the villa, patents, furniture, everything.
It really drives home the scale. It wasn't just about ideology, it was about massive organized theft.
Exactly. And Julius's grandson, Raymond Fromm, makes that point so powerfully. He says, look, this isn't just another Holocaust story, though it is that too. It's a prime example of this huge, corrupt looting that systematically targeted countless Jewish families across Germany and Europe.
And the consequence is that many families today have almost nothing left from their past. No heirlooms, no photos.
Because it was all taken. It wasn't just lives lost. It was legacies, histories, tangible connections to the past, all deliberately erased or stolen through this bureaucratic plunder.
So wrapping this up, what should you, the listener, take away from Julius Fromm's story?
I think it's a powerful reminder that historical atrocities aren't always loud, dramatic events. Sometimes they're quiet, bureaucratic. The steady, grinding theft that happens with paperwork and official stamps, but devastates lives just as completely.
And it forces us to look at complicity, doesn't it? It wasn't just Goering. It was the officials, the bankers, the lawyers, even the ordinary people buying things at those Jew auctions. Millions were involved, actively or passively, in the plunder.
Yes. Julius Fromm saw himself as German. He believed in the system, built something incredible within it. And ultimately, as one historian put it, he fell prey to a state and its citizens. His innovative company, a symbol of changing times, became just another asset to be seized by a nation consuming its own.
It leaves you with a really challenging thought, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's our responsibility looking back? It's not just about remembering. It's about understanding how this kind of widespread, socially accepted complicity happens and making sure it doesn't take root again.
Because the mechanisms of prejudice, dehumanization, and greed, they haven't vanished from the world. As Santayana warned, forgetting the past condemns us to repeat it. We need to stay vigilant.